Good news, everyone! The producers caved.
Yay!
But it's not over yet.
Boo!
On September 24th, the WGA announced that they and the AMPTP have an agreement in principle for a new 3-year contract, and they're ready to draft the agreement for ratification by the guild membership.
Which is great, and we want to send a big congratulations out to the WGA, their negotiating committee, and all the guild members, because not only is a fair deal hopefully right around the corner, but you've proven yet again that strikes fucking work.
Fucking A. Strikes are disruptive, of course, but they're supposed to be. When business as usual ain't cutting it anymore, workers have no choice but to unite, organize, stand up for what's fair, and strike.
Everything that you like about your job, the pay, the bennies, the sick time, the vacation, the holidays, all of that is thanks to a union.
And if you don't have that shit, or if you have it but it's not enough, that's thanks to a boss.
And that's no hyperbole. We've said it before and we'll say it again. Unions are your friend. They benefit workers and they protect labor from exploitation by the bosses.
That's right. If unions didn't benefit labor, corporations wouldn't spend so much time and money lobbying to make them illegal.
If something scares the bosses, it's good for the workers. All workers.
Plumbers,
Electricians.
teachers,
Truck drivers.
animators,
Auto workers.
directors,
Baristas.
forklift operators,
Writers.
hotel employees.
Strippers.
Fuck yeah. And actors. SAG-AFTRA is still striking for a fair deal because the producers haven't come back to the negotiating table. So, Hollywood's historic labor movement marches on.
So as always, if you can, toss some scratch to entertainmentcommunity.org. Hollywood isn't back in production yet, but it will be soon because labor is fucking winning.
And labor will always win, as long as we stand arm in arm, picket signs in hand, in solidarity.
You can cut down our shade, you can bust up our sidewalks, but you'll never break our spirit. Labor's rallying cry will ring out, they have the plant, but we have the power.
I don't remember that one from the Communist Manifesto.
It's from The Simpsons.
I know.
Hey, Adam, Lisa needs braces.
Dental plan, right there, thanks to a labor union.
Yeah.
By the way, what clown said that eyes and teeth aren't just covered by your medical insurance? Why are those separate plans? You know what? It never made... Okay, here's the... So it's probably part due to the pharmaceutical lobbies, right? I bet you they're thinking, oh, we got eye doctors, why don't we have eye insurance? We got teeth doctors, why not have teeth insurance? You know,
Hi, I'm JP.
And I'm Adam.
I've never seen Lost.
I have.
I'm told that it's good.
I liked it.
I'm told that it made sense.
Sort of.
But we're watching it out of order.
So it definitely won't make sense.
But it might still be good. Since we won't expect it to make sense, we'll still be able to appreciate each episode on its own merits as a 1-hour story.
Sometimes 2 or 3.
As opposed to just a fraction of an ongoing, sprawling, and increasingly complex tangle of relationships, personal stories, mysteries, mythologies, experiments, social dynamics, unnatural disasters, unanswered questions, and hot tropical hookups.
Are you okay?
I'm not sure.
Because you lost me a little bit there at the end.
Well, good, because I've been lost since the beginning. We're lost on Lost.
Welcome everybody to Lost on Lost. Hey, I'm JP Russell, and I'm joined as always by a man who's always got 39 books, Adam Busher.
In that situation, absolutely. I would have 39 fined $39.
Adam,
Yeah.
do you have like a pen and paper near you? I just need you to write down something.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, for the purposes of the joke, you have
Yeah,
a pen and
I
paper.
absolutely
Write
do.
this down. Area code 888-452-7381. I just need you to have that phone number just on hand.
Okay.
That's the phone number for Los Angeles County Animal Control. In case you got any mad dogs around.
Oh my God.
Today we're talking about Genesis. Genesis is the pilot episode of Heroes. Our eccentric characters are various. Genesis takes place probably a day or two before the death of Charles DeVoe. Adam,
Yeah.
do you have a recap?
Of sorts. I'm, again, experimenting with my recap format.
Let's hear it.
The experiment for this one is I didn't write one. A bunch of people we don't ever get introduced to do some things in various places, and the time in which it takes, we are also unaware of. And that is the genesis of the story Heroes.
Wow.
You know what? That's pretty good, all things considered.
I honestly, thinking back on it, when I realized that I'd forgotten to write a recap, what I did just then, is as good or better than anything I could have written.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have a guest.
We've got a guest. Who could it be?
Welcome back to the show, Lost on Lost Faithful. Mad Dawg, Mark Duntz.
Mad Dawg.
Hey guys.
Mark, you were with us for Dave episodes. Episode
that was a
46
good one.
of Lost on Lost, where we talked about imaginary friends. So there's a parallel here between Heroes, which we watched, and Dave, which we watched back then.
Really?
In that sometimes a very average man like Tim Kring can have a rich and broad inner fantasy life, which he put to paper in creating the show Heroes.
Did he?
That was great.
Or did he like take a bunch of Ambien and write it on a cocktail napkin and then pee on it?
Great question. Mark, refresh the audience as to how much you love television.
So much.
Specifically, tell us about the difference in your enjoyment between the era of television which Heroes comes from and the era of television we are now in. What some might dub prestige television, the prestige television area.
Yes. It's definitely gotten a lot better, but we didn't really know that it could be better at the time. At the time, Heroes was fantastic and really groundbreaking. I mean, just really edgy.
Yeah.
Heroes, Justified, all kinds of shows like that. Just like super like, I think should be on TV.
Let's talk about here. Let's get it over with. Let's talk about Heroes.
Let's do this. Genesis originally aired on September 25th, 2006. It was written by Tim Kring and directed by David Semel. Is that how you say that? Semel?
Semel? Smith.
Semel? We're going to go with Semel. Tim Kring was the executive producer on a short called Confessions. Hey, Tim, here's a confession. I once shit my pants during a theatrical showing of Lockdown in 2012. Not the first time I've referenced that on this podcast. And David Semel was the executive producer of the show Pure Genius, which coincidentally was the other name for this podcast. We start off on like a Carl Sagan Saturday morning special.
The opening
crawl.
We
get a title card. I suppose we get the title card.
I was furious.
That I had one?
10 seconds into this.
Just because that existed?
The opening crawl, I don't know what it did to me.
It was kind of fast, actually.
It was a little quick. Part of me was just like, whatever you're communicating to me right now in this opening crawl, why aren't you telling me this in the show? Just show, don't tell. I was like, you're just telling me something. And it did not have the impact that you wanted it to have because...
You're just against them in general.
No, I'm not. Because sometimes they set a tone. This didn't feel like it was setting a tone. This felt like, here's some information that we were not going to bother to put in the episode. That's what it felt like to me.
Listen, Always Sunny has a title card at the beginning of every episode, and it's fucking awesome.
Yes, exactly. Because they use their title cards as part of the joke.
As a punchline, yeah.
This, not so much.
There's something about the animation of the crawl, and there's a bunch of like, there's a lens flare at one point, and there's some motion tracking at some point. They all look shockingly similar to like 2006 After Effects like pre-made plugins. Like somebody didn't actually animate them. They're just like, oh, this shit's just built into After Effects. Fucking render that shit out. I can't prove that because I don't still have my 2006 version of Apple Motion or After Effects, but I'm pretty sure these were built in.
Not as much of a coincidence as you think.
Yeah, so there's this infuriating opening crawl, and then we see the dad from This Is Us on the building.
Is that who that actually is?
Yeah, Milo Ventimiglia.
I never watched This Is Us.
Yep.
In the however many years between shows, does his acting get any better?
It is rough in this show.
Hey, you know what? We got some time. I'm going to see if he was ever nominated for an Emmy or anything for This Is Us. I watched the first 4 episodes of This Is Us. It made me cry every time, but not in like a good way. I felt like I was being emotionally manipulated. I was like, you're tricking me. You're tricking me into crying.
Yes.
And I don't enjoy this at all anymore. So if you're going to keep doing this to me every episode, I'm not watching you anymore. And I stopped. Yeah, 3 episodes in.
I do want to say just blanket statement. Pilots have got to be tough.
Yes. Yeah. We should put that out. We should put that out there right now. Pilots are hard.
Right.
Most pilots that get made, most people never even see them.
True.
Like, back when they used to actually have a pilot season, the network, they'd make anywhere between, 15 and 20 pilots, 1 hours, half hours, multicams, and they'd pick up 5 of them.
Right.
8, depending on,
they can often have a very different feel to what the actual show is going to feel like.
The pilot of Columbo is nothing like Columbo.
The pilot of Columbo is a stage play. that was shot.
Yeah.
And yeah, they'll be like, we like this as an idea, but we have notes. And yeah, then compare the first episode of Seinfeld to the rest of the first season of Seinfeld to the rest of Seinfeld. The pilot of Sopranos is so much different than the rest of the show. So yeah, pilots are hard, and we all acknowledge that.
But man, the acting in this one, I mean, granted, the actors have some of the worst written dialogue I've ever heard outside of student films to work with, but they're not doing themselves any favors. So blanket statement, really bad dialogue, really bad acting.
I liked some of the performances.
Well, you call them out, because I want to know.
Because they're hard to pick out.
Yeah.
It looks like Milo got nominated a couple of times.
Don't say these things to me.
For acting for This Is Us, but I'm not seeing if he won or not.
Let's assume he got better.
Anyways.
Yeah, I forgot what we were talking about. He's on the building and he jumps off, or maybe doesn't.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to that same dude. He's a nurse and he's tending to comatose Richard Roundtree.
Not to make this podcast even more about me. I did hospice with my dad at home, and the only thing it was missing was one of the nurses hitting on me while my father was dying before my fucking unblinking eyes. What is this fucking scene?
Like 10 seconds after saying another week at most, he's about gone.
Your dad's gonna die very soon.
Very soon. But
are you doing anything after? Or
hey babe, I'm finna smash these guts. What are you up to later?
I have a boyfriend. Which is what she says. She has a boyfriend.
So he's about to pass, but would you pass on a night with me?
Oh, Mark! He did it!
Yeah, she's got a boyfriend. And then something else happened. I have like 5 pages of notes, and I literally just wrote a sentence for each scene that happened. So like there are so many cuts. A lot of these things are really quick. Like the next thing we go to is
guy teaching.
A guy teaching, who we don't find out his name till way later. We don't find out any of these fucking people's names till.
They had the writers must have been like, listen, when you introduce a character, everybody always jumps to like the first person they talk to goes, hi, Rebecca. So like, don't do that.
Let's not do
Give them half hour, easy.
Yeah.
Give them a couple of scenes and then have somebody be like, listen, Sean.
We always want people to be asking questions about our characters. And the easiest way to do that is to have them always asking, what's that guy's name?
It is also like just once or twice.
Yeah.
That I think any of the names are said.
Yeah, I think it was literally like 20-something minutes in before we got a name of anybody.
But yeah, our teacher guy is talking about, well, he's clearly not keeping his class very riveted. He's like, I got to pivot with some sexier knowledge, I guess, because they're like, he's losing the room. Yeah. And he's just like, human evolution is neat. Like
the Human Genome Project. There's people like visibly nodding off in the class. Like,
yeah.
It's probably because the room is dark.
That's
open the window.
A dude shows up. He cuts the lecture short. It's a friend of his. Don't know his name. Bowtie man. They talk about the dude. We find out later this guy's name is Mohinder. Mohinder's dad was a researcher into human evolution, human genome project, blah, blah, blah. All this is interesting stuff about where humanity can go from here. He's dead now. He died. He hasn't finished his research. His research is apparently very compelling. And Mohinder heads to his dad's place to get his stuff.
It's clearly like the apartment of someone who is not well and is like mid conspiracy theory or whatever.
Yeah.
But the apartment that he then took up residence in New York has like all the exact same stuff.
It's his dad's. Like, it's the exact same apartment.
Well, I don't want to pay to check a bag of all of my conspiracy notes. Right. I'll go to the library. I'll just print off all my conspiracy notes there. I got them all on Google Drive. It's not a big deal.
This guy's cloud computing in real life his own conspiracy theory. He's like, I want to be able to access my conspiracy theory wherever I go.
Every room I go into.
Mohinder picks up some stuff. There's this big map with some pins. His father was tracing some people around. There's another dude in this apartment, though. He answers the phone. I don't understand how either of these people got into this place without noticing the other.
I think the idea was that Mohinder was first.
Sure. He's obviously stealing something. He's not supposed to be there, this other guy. Why didn't he check to see if anybody was around? You're committing B&E. It'd be nice if there were no witnesses.
Yeah, I didn't check the rooms first before taking a phone call. Very interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
I check every bathroom stall before I take a dump at work. I situationally aware.
OPSEC.
Nobody's getting the drop on me.
You got to know whether you can leave the door open or not.
Right. See, Mark gets it.
We cut to Las Vegas, the city that never sleeps or something.
Never works these days. That's what I'm reading in the headlines.
The city that is certainly not going to have water soon, much like Phoenix and Tucson and Reno.
That's a better joke.
Is it Allie or Ali?
Allie Larder.
Allie Larder. They're
Looking great.
that is a name I have not heard in a long time. And I gotta tell you, not bad.
Literally, after the first 2 scenes, I was like, this is going to be a long fucking 53 minutes. And then 7 minutes in, we hit this, and I was like, yeah, all right.
All right, maybe. All right.
She didn't get cast as Shannon on Lost, so she landed this gig.
She would have made such a good Shannon, though.
Oh, for sure.
She's a cam girl. She's a sex worker. We support sex workers here on this podcast.
Hell yeah.
All labor has dignity.
Amen.
I support them all the time. $39 a time.
I like that her deal aspect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how long is 20 minutes? Not for you? Not 40.
Yeah,
No.
$39.99.
$39.99.
Yeah. But yeah, the timer goes off. She's like, she's about to show him the cake, but then his time's up. So she goes over and types into the thing, "Hey, more money." And he's like, "Come on." And she's like, "No." And he's like, "You
Come on,
bitch."
baby.
Which is a kind of a little microcosm of what it's like to be a sex worker.
Yeah, but typically when somebody pays me $40 to jerk off, I at least jerk off a little, like...
JP's personal.
We are lostonlost@gmail.com.
Yeah, so she deals with the cheap customer. She hears some whispers.
Yeah.
She sees her own reflection in the mirror.
Yeah, this confused the piss out of me. And, now understanding that she's got, a Dr. Jekyll, Mrs. Hyde thing going on, it's like, you need to make the reflection look different.
More different.
Right, because she just kind of has an apathetic look, and so does the reflection. I was like, well, I can't see them both at the same time, so I don't say that they're not matching up, really. So,
Yeah, that was one of my biggest points of confusion throughout was Allie's... Turns out her name's Nikki. Allie's whole thing.
I think that's the only time, though. After that,
the reflections become
starts
more
moving
different
separately. Yeah.
I missed that. I was staring into the middle distance.
Right, yeah. You were elsewhere. I was in my mind palace. Don't come in. I'm cleaning my don't come in. I'm cleaning my mind palace. I told you to knock before entering my mind palace.
We don't have a shirt. That's gotta be it.
Oh god. Allie's got a child.
Allie has a person working on their master's degree.
Yeah, sort of. The child is attempting to act like he's working on a computer. He's really just holding a soldering iron.
Correct. Yeah.
Right, you're making a fucking, what do you say? Was it a motherboard or a
He
logic
said
board?
a logic board,
The
which I
logic board
don't
on his
know
computer was shot.
if that's a thing.
And a logic board's a real thing, but I'm like, dude, you need lasers to etch those.
I wonder if anybody in the show will have a cool power like laser eyes.
It was a bit hacker man. It was kind of just like, oh well, I've got to hack into the mainframe, but of a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Yes, he grows up to be hacker, man. Fuck yeah.
The Lost connection here is that this little boy building this computer is reminiscent of any construction project that Charlie is involved in on Lost. He's building something. Couldn't tell you what.
I'm just curious if at some point that the kid that plays her son suddenly was getting too pubescent and they were like, oh, we gotta get rid of you for a couple of seasons.
I feel like, yeah, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, some characters, the show definitely has characters that come in and out.
Yeah, it is cast turnover. It's it's an ensemble in a very pure sense in that most of the characters on the show don't stick around the entire time.
Yeah.
But this show doesn't suffer from the problem Lost had, in which every episode of Lost is roughly a day on the island. So 3 seasons into Lost,
That's fair.
3 years between Walt David Kelly being cast and acting. He hasn't grown 2 years like this show.
Although this pilot is supposed to be at max 2 days.
Right.
At max 48 hours.
I was thinking 36 hours at the most.
And it can kind of, because it goes from New York and Texas, they kind of just
and Japan. So
Japan.
Yeah. So it's all roughly the same time period.
Anyway, Allie Larder being hot.
Yep, she's got to get the kid to school. There's some dudes looking for her. They have to sneak out the back. He's kind of salty to her about her line of work. Kid, give your mom a break. She's a single mom just trying to make ends meet, you know?
Yeah.
Well, and especially when you find out that she had to donate $25,000 just for him to get into school.
How bad are the public schools? You know what I mean?
In Vegas?
Right?
She later says they didn't know what to do with him.
The kid's probably some sort of fucking hacker man genius, right?
I know,
Like,
that's the idea, but like, what is
we don't-
public school going to do? Be like, hey, stop doing that. I noticed that you're like smart. Can you,
rein it in a little.
yeah, can you rein it in? Like, there's no way. He's probably fine.
For
I know.
$25,000, move to a place with better schools.
Yeah.
Right? Right. You're a cam woman.
I know that's the
You
actually
can do that anywhere.
actually dating this show so much because in 2006 as a cam girl
Yeah.
you have to take out a loan from a loan shark just to get your kid into school. Now
Yeah.
being a cam girl could buy you
Right.
7 Lamborghinis
Right.
that month.
And it's
Yeah.
the easiest thing to start doing.
You don't have to remotely do 20 minutes. You can do a 1-minute thing and that'll take
That'll
care
pay
of your
rent
month.
right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I read a thing on Twitter how this woman was taking secret pictures of her mom's feet and then put them on Foot Finder, and then she sold all of the foot pics of her mom and then like bought her mom a car.
That's genius.
And
I love that.
I've never wanted to kill myself more.
Speaking of killing herself, we cut to Odessa, Texas. Again, this is a place that's not established till a little bit later. We find out later this is Odessa, Texas. Hayden Panettiere is a cheerleader.
Panettiere.
Whatever.
What do I know her from?
Heroes.
I'm signing off the fucking call. Anywho, she throws herself off of like an iron
Some sort of
bridge
scaffolding. Yeah.
at like a abandoned smelting factory
Yeah,
or
it's
something.
like 35 or 40 feet, probably.
Yeah. and the fact that it doesn't cut is decent. Like
Yeah.
it's I
That's
feel
sure.
like for the time
Yeah.
for 2000s cable TV at like 7 p.m.
Yeah.
having just a girl just
Yeah.
jumping off of a thing and then just like kind of not cutting and or
Mm-hmm.
alluding to it was pretty like I feel like at the time we were like this is the edgiest show
Right. Yeah.
I've ever seen.
And I thought the effect for me was like the only effect, the visual effect that kind of worked.
Yeah.
I was
It's
like,
because
oh,
the
yeah.
entire thing has that old footage
The camcorder.
Right.
camcorder.
The found, yeah.
So that really lets them. It lets them hide that like the wound on her face disappearing. That lets them hide that way better.
Yeah. She. The thing that bothered
Huge
me was
crush
that,
of mine, by the way.
Yeah.
I just wanted to point that out. Hayden Panettiere has been
Hayden Panettiere.
really
Oh,
been-
her, not the AV kid, not the past version of JP. Got it.
I was gonna say also, yeah, just like the past version of the three of us. No, I mean I see a lot of myself in him, but no.
Oh yeah.
The thing that bothered me was that that fall distance probably wouldn't have killed her.
It would have been just pain. She would just lay
She would
there
have
in
been
pain
like
for
in a lot of pain.
like a few
yeah,
hours and
she'd
then
have been
died.
messed up.
Yeah,
but-
and like Mark said, when we just watched this like a couple hours ago. Mark said, had she been left alone there, yeah, maybe that would have killed her, but like she would have died on
Yeah.
impact. Yeah,
Which is the
Right.
worst way to do it.
right. Slow and painful in Odessa, Texas.
Come on, John Locke got thrown out of like a 300-foot friggin' window, and he was
He was totally fine.
relatively fine.
Oh, she says like this is the 6th time I've tried to kill myself. And it's really pissing me off that it's not working. So, cuts back to New York. Milo from whatever he goes to talk to his brother and tells him that he has a dream about flying/falling. His brother's running for office. His brother, we find out later, his name is Nathan. We do not find out now. Makes a Roger Clinton reference, which was for 2007, man.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of hard watching the two brothers act together because one is dramatically better than the other one, and that's not even really saying that the actor who plays Nathan is absolutely just killing that either.
It's
but
just the bar is
Right.
very low.
the bar is very low.
The bar, you don't even need to fly over it. You can just step over it.
But if you needed to fly over it, the dialogue is so bad. I don't know who I'm supposed to be rooting for in each scene because, like, I get it. Like, he's a politician who only
He's a
cares about his
shack.
career.
It's very
Yeah.
obvious he's supposed to be the
Right. But your brother's coming in and telling you about his dream. Do you know how fucking annoying it is to have to listen to somebody else explain their dreams?
Right.
of how they're supposed to be special.
Right.
Yeah.
Like imagine working for the last like 14 hours straight, no sleep, and then worrying about your mother stealing something to ruin the hard work you've put in for the last decade of your life. And then your brother comes
Right.
in and goes, I think I can fly. I saw it in my dream.
yeah.
Like you'd be
precisely.
like, go home.
Yeah,
get out of my life.
office.
Yeah.
The whole thing gave me Black Sheep vibes. Fucking Chris Farley and Tim Matheson.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
gotta fight for your right to vote. Oh yeah, kill white.
Now, whether this guy wants to take away women's rights or whether he wants socialized healthcare, we don't know.
I know he's a villain purely because he's
Because he's a politician.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he's a shitty one. 10 points back, 8 days away from the
You're
bail.
not making it. Yeah,
Leave.
you're not making it.
Like, yeah.
Bow out.
Time to start packing that shit up.
But yeah, the Roger Clinton thing made me laugh pretty hard because I feel like the audience for this show isn't going to understand the Roger Clinton reference.
That's the weirdest thing, which is so far the audience has actually kind of been people who just want to see Ali Larder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Hayden Panettiere.
And
And Hayden Panettiere. Cut back to Claire. They're leaving the scaffolding.
Nothing.
Yeah, she wants
Yeah.
the tape from him. And then this is where she says, "I'll talk to you in front of people at school as like payment." Like that's how she's.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of all that. He takes the tape and her ribs are sticking out.
Yeah, that was cool.
I don't like the writing of her dialogue in this scene
No.
because it starts with "I'm so depressed," and then she proceeds to name a bunch of things that she's very stressed about that she cares a lot about, which you just don't have when you're depressed.
Right.
Then he says, like, "Why are you freaking out? You're still going to be popular, like just because you're immortal. Like, one, nobody's going to know you're immortal, and two, you're still going to be popular." And she says, "I don't care about being popular. Big stressor you have coming up is homecoming. I feel like you care
Care a little
quite a bit. You're on the
Right.
cheerleading squad,
Right.
Yeah.
Like she's just like they're trying to paint her as this very like Texas blonde upper middle class girl that's like a cheerleader and everything, but then also she's like the girl that's not like the rest of the girls.
Right.
That is into more important stuff. She can't be both.
They kind of
I'm sorry.
want to
Yeah.
make her into Amy Smart from Varsity Blues and not
Oh.
Ali Larder from Varsity Blues.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're just not. They're not getting there. This is where we cut to Hero for the first time.
His name is Hero?
Yeah, Hero from Heroes.
Which is he's actually one of my favorite, one of my preferred characters in this show.
Yeah, he's great. His name is Hero?
That was what I said. I was like,
It's a little racist.
it's incredible. A lot of the stuff about the Japanese section of the show is pretty racist.
It's just very lazy. Yeah,
Yeah, lazy, which is
because it's technically accurate. Like him saying we're Japanese, so you
Yeah.
can't be different. It's
Yeah.
like I get the conforming to a culture is a little bit bigger in Japan, but you could have said that in a way that it wasn't. We are Japanese.
We are
We don't.
Japanese.
We're
Do
not
not-
special,
yeah.
which is like
We're not special.
horrifically written. Yeah,
so bad. Yeah, there are so many Japanese names. Why name him Hero?
Hero.
His buddy is watching Ali Larder. He's the
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird connections between all these people that are not related at
Yeah.
all.
He might not be Huggers 69, the cheap guy from the beginning, but
Is that what the screen name was?
Hugger 69.
Huggers 69. Yeah.
That's my fucking screen name. What the fuck?
Do you spell it with the 2 Z's?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. He can stop time, I guess.
And also
Yeah,
teleport.
and
Like those
also
are
teleport.
two separate abilities, but
Two.
apparently you can do both.
He freezes like 1 second of time for like a second of time.
Yeah.
And then in the same episode later, his next like feat of being able to use his powers of just being able to freeze time for 1 second is he teleports across the world.
No, he goes into the ladies' bathroom.
Oh, that's true. He does do that first. That's right. That's right. That's right.
The rate at which he gets a handle on his powers is very,
Is
very
pretty
it's
rapid,
it's
yeah.
a pretty steep slope.
Well, and there's something about like in Mystery Men when the Invisible Boy is like, I can't even see myself invisible, but when you're invisible, you can feel it. You know, like, okay, all right. He was able to freeze 1 second. He's like, I know I can do this more. I just need to figure it out.
Right.
But how freezing time means I can also teleport, I don't
Yeah, right. That jump also made me so like when he was talking about freezing time, and then when they're at the club and they're like, I'm gonna go into the bathroom.
Yep.
I assume that means he stopped time and then walked into the bathroom.
Right.
That's not what he's literally teleporting.
Right.
Because he didn't
Right.
stop time and then go to America.
No, he didn't stop time.
Yeah.
Yeah. From there, we cut back to Vegas. Mike is getting kicked out of a private school that she had to bribe the principal to let them in. And we were both, Mark and I were confused as to why this happened. And it finally dawned on us. He's getting kicked out because she's a stripper. That's why.
Yeah.
Right.
I had no idea what any of these people's powers were. So I was hoping that she had super strength and she was just going to like throw him through a wall when she
Just
grabbed him by
rip
the
his
tie.
goddamn head
Yeah,
off.
that's what I was
like-
hoping was going to happen.
She's not that desperate though, because as she kind of grabs his tie, but he does say something about an extension.
Mm-hmm.
He says, well, you're not going to get that money back. But if you want to do some kind of extension on what you owe, and then she grabs his tie and goes, listen, motherfucker. But like, if you're pretty desperate, you'd be like, What were you about to say?
Yeah. Wait, you said something about
You said I could have some more time. Let's just go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's probably alluding to sexual favors.
I don't know. He seems to be the only person who's not alluding to sexual favors with Ellie Larder's character. He was because she's sitting in the office initially with her hoodie kind of exposing her shoulders, and she says, "My son and I are both willing to work very hard," and he says, "No." And she's just like, okay. And then she fixes her hoodie back up, and she's just like, okay, so like, what's the problem?
Yeah.
Then?
If you're not trying to fuck, what are we actually doing
she's
here?
like, so then what are we doing here? And he's just essentially kind of just like, I'm kicking your son out.
You were making all the other moms
very
jealous.
Very jealous. The dads are leaving them. It's atrocious.
It's chaos.
Chaos.
This private school is falling apart at the seams, all because of your super hotness. Cut back to Peter and Nathan are visiting mom. Mom got caught shoplifting.
Again, I don't know who to root for in this scene. Why'd you steal something? She's like, I just had to feel something again, you know? And it's like, Dad died 6 months ago. Get over it. And it's just like, wait, I was on your side until you're just like telling somebody how to grieve. And
but she also she never really got mad at her son though. Like she didn't ever clap back at him. She just let him be upset, which of course he's going to do. And then she's like, I'm going to keep the other son around me.
Peter might be telepathic. Maybe is the sort of the vibe we're getting. Like he thinks he can fly. He has dreams. He heard his brother get hurt.
Yeah.
Sort of just for me muddying the water as to what's actually going on with yet another person.
To introduce like this many characters and all of them having a different power and kind of not, and like as the viewer trying to like, we gotta keep track of all these characters and all these different powers that they have. To have 3 different characters that are like introducing multiple powers, is pretty wild to do.
Agreed.
I can set things on fire with my mind, and I've got 3 ping pong balls up my ass. I could always fit the 3 ping pong balls up my ass.
It's like, I don't think that first one's a superpower there, champ, but let's hear more about that second one. I'm willing to pay upwards of $39 for 20 minutes of your time.
Boy, the mom, the last thing she does, I thought she slapped him across the face, but she
very
like
gently. But
it's just kind of like
it had no intention behind it. I didn't understand what the slap was supposed to convey. Was this like a like a pat on the cheek kind of thing, like a you or was it like I am angry with you but I don't want to hurt you?
It's kind of like
and we
stop
can't
being
fake
silly.
It didn't make
but it was.
I just didn't understand the intention, but yeah, she absolutely slapped him. Cut back to Allie. She brings Micah to a friend.
This is the scene in which I think Allie is the only person in this show who does an actual genuinely good job of acting, and that's just her performance in this scene where she's talking to what is assumed her friend. We have no clue who it is.
I thought it was like sister. I got
it could be her sister.
Yeah. I was thinking sister or maybe mom. I was hoping sister or friend because the age difference was.
Again, it seems like the writers didn't want to be those kind of writers that just like said everything to you right as it shows characters for the first time. You're like, this is the sister named Ashley, so that it doesn't do that. So then they go the other way, and you're just like, who was that?
Because the easiest thing is as the car's pulling up, Micah, the child, goes, "Why are we at Aunt Sally's house?" And then she says she's going to watch you for a little while I go do a thing. Then all of a sudden we find out that person's name and their relationship.
Boom.
But then the writers don't want to do that because they're trying to do something.
Right.
Be mysterious? Well, they're fucking nailing it.
They're nailing it.
The thing that happens here that fucking just pisses me off, the woman who opens the door, she does a really nice job. You know, she's like, well, how long this time? You know, like a couple hours. And then she tries to pivot quickly to the kid and be like, hey, there's ice cream in the fridge, you know? And the kid does the like young Sheldon thing where he rolls his eyes like he's an adult trapped in a child's body. I'm like, he has super intellect. Most children that have super intellect still just act like children, though.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're still as excited about ice cream as a regular child that age.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm 36. If somebody walked in here right now with ice cream, I'd be fucking elated.
They're not like, I'm too smart to enjoy ice cream.
Be like, oh, Rocky Road. How prosaic. So the next scene is there's a fire, a train derail fire thing. There's people trapped.
She saves a guy, runs off.
I was distracted by the fact that the firefighters weren't wearing their turnout gear correctly. That was the thing that I was bothered by.
They do the thing where we know that she's got like super strength and she can heal and all this stuff. She's able to run in to the burning car. She saves this guy who was trapped in there. Apparently the smoke inhalation, she's immune to that as well, I guess. I was upset at first that like not that I want to see someone running around naked, but like, it's the Superman, like, why don't the clothes get damaged sort of thing.
So they keep the blood on her though. I've noticed that. Like she just like has blood on her cheerleader outfit like, the whole time.
They do put some fire on Claire as she's coming out of the thing, but like they make it look like the firefighter put her out really quickly so that her outfit continues to be undamaged. It's like okay.
Right. If it were so hot that it would like evaporated all of her clothes, like there's no way the guy would have survived.
Right. Yeah.
So I suppose it's hot, but it's not that hot. Like he's gonna die of smoke inhalation before the flames get to him.
Yeah, because obviously he like fully was able to run out.
Right.
Because she's not gonna just carry him out of there.
Well, maybe she's got that super strength.
She might have super strength.
Cheerleader's got fucking strength to him, dude.
I mean, she's a flyer though. She's not a base. Like,
oh, that's fair. That's fair.
Okay, so the fire, she saves the guy.
Scotty's coming.
Scotty the firefighter. We cut back to New York. Mohinder has arrived at his other conspiracy apartment.
And definitely not the same set as his dad's apartment with a different window.
Right. It appears to have also been ransacked. Maybe whoever got to Mohinder's dad's place in wherever the University of Madras is also must have gotten here. But Mohinder starts putting his research. He's going to pick up Dad's research from where he left off and get to going. As he's picking through the wreckage, he finds a tape that says Sylar on it. SYLAR. Wow. Cut over to Isaac. Isaac is the woman from the beginning.
Yeah, my face blindness was kicking in, dude. I couldn't tell if that was her or not.
It took me a second, too.
I thought we were talking about the mass amount of just white guys with dark hair.
That's true, because I didn't...
I think the main cast of this show.
And because the scene was so poorly lit, I thought that this was Zachary Quinto, and I thought that this was going to be Sylar. But it's not. It's a dude named Isaac.
There's more, too, that aren't even introduced in the pilot.
Yeah.
There's like 3 more like late 20s, early 30s white dark hair guys.
Dark hair guys with scruff,
yeah. We're just getting started.
He's a painter and a heroin addict or something.
Some kind of addict.
Some sort of addict. He's freaking out. He's painting premonitions of accidents and stuff. And he's like, I got to get back on the horse because everything's too weird. It was when I'm on drugs, I'm way less creative, and then I don't see all this horrific shit and I have to paint it.
Right.
They really skim his introduction to his character.
Yeah, it's just like a rock skipping over a pond with this dude. He's like heroin.
The scene's really more about her than him. But then she says something like, "No, you can't go cold turkey."
Yeah,
you absolutely can.
Let me help
you can and
you.
you should.
Yeah,
you absolutely should.
Yeah.
But more importantly, every male in this girl's life is a superhero.
Yeah.
Every single one she knows.
Well, I don't know if you know this about white men.
We're all superheroes.
We're all special and more special than other people. Is Richard Roundtree a superhero? Do you know?
I'm pretty sure.
The comatose dad?
He is.
His superhero power is waking up from a coma.
Here's the deal. He's in 3 episodes of this show. 1 is in a flashback, and they learn that he does have some sort of like telekinetic powers or something like that.
Okay.
They never address when he actually dies.
Nice.
According to Heroespedia or whatever.
Sure.
They're just like, yeah, he dies at some point, like off screen.
Awesome. That's so cool. That's really awesome and cool.
It'd be cool to have the superpower of waking up from your coma and knowing everything that happened while you were in the coma and be like, you just hit on my daughter right in front of me.
Right in front of me.
Yeah.
Right in front of me.
What is that, man?
I'm going to throw you out this window. Ah, son of a bitch.
We got to Peter talking to his brother again.
Seems to happen a lot.
Yeah.
About
getting a job,
guy problems,
or like whatever, and like grief, the mother, and whatever. It doesn't last. That's just kind of where it starts off. The point is reinforced here that they don't get along. Whatever. He gets into Mohinder's cab. Mohinder is he had to tell his super that he had a job. He's going to drive a cab to get the apartment
in the same day.
Happens like that. And then this is where they have a discussion about how Peter feels special, and Mohinder kind of humors him a little bit, but he's not having it. I like the fact that Mohinder does not realize that Peter is probably one of the people he's looking for.
Sure.
It's good.
Because like it would be really cliche and trite and dumb if he was like, I I saw a picture of this generic white man in my father's apartment. I think you are telepathic or whatever.
Wait, you wear a long sleeve thermal underneath a t-shirt? You're just the man I've been looking for.
Quick, tell me about your dreams. This is where we have our classic mid-2000s music montage.
Ooh, yeah.
I thought this was the end of the episode.
It usually is.
It usually is.
It usually is.
It
It definitely is with Scrubs.
Yep.
Because it was at the 30-minute mark, too.
It was at the 30 minutes.
Right, yeah.
It started going. We were like, is it over? I was like, no way. There's got to be more. And yeah, there's 20 minutes left in the episode.
I got real sad. But yeah, the fucking eclipse happens, and I was like, oh, is the eclipse going to be like when everybody fucking activates?
Right.
Or
Some sort of
like,
catalyst for action.
It is unrelated, I think.
Seems to be.
Seems to be.
it's the logo for the show, and it's unrelated.
yeah.
Cool. Neat. This is really good writing, guys.
This is a not bad song though.
Yeah, song's fun.
The type of music that I like a lot. So I was like, all right, cool. Come back to Nikki. She goes to her house to get some things or whatever.
Yeah.
And then some of the thugs that she owes money to are there to get
Bamboozle.
and sexually assault her.
Oh, that too.
So that's neat. Cut back to Hero. Him and his buddy are going out for a drink. Hero's trying to explain to his friend why he's special, and his friend's very, dismissive. Throughout this entire thing, on the escalator, on the subway, at the karaoke joint, which is fine. I mean, Hero's trying to explain something to him that's very far-fetched, so...
Yeah. And to be fair, Adam, every time you offer up a personal fact about yourself to me, I tune out. So,
sure, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be interesting shit or like fantastic stuff. Like if I told you that I could fly, you would have the same reaction to it as if I told you I was like, oh, I got a flat the other day. You'd be like, yeah.
You'd be like, I'm gonna jump off this building. I'd be like, do a flip.
Exactly. Exactly. This is the part where we also get Hero and his buddy are kind of skeezy because his buddy's like, hey, why don't you teleport into the ladies' bathroom and check out?
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, we should not do that. Either of you guys.
Yeah.
That you shouldn't have that idea, and then Hero, you shouldn't.
You shouldn't have followed through on that.
Yeah, you shouldn't have said like, "Fuck yeah, I can."
Because he says something about like you'll learn something, or
You might not learn anything about your purpose, but you might learn a little something about life. As though this grown man has probably never seen a
naked
female,
lady, right?
I guess not.
Maybe he hasn't. Maybe he hasn't. He does like Star Trek. I like Star Trek, and I didn't see a naked woman until I was 35.
30. What?
The not standard age.
Anyways,
I'm 30. I can't wait. So close.
We come back to Nikki. Yeah, she killed them dudes dead.
it's the Barry Bazineff. Not again.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what happened. I don't know. It's okay.
But like, we don't see like any transformation.
Right, and-
we don't like. They're just bloody corpses.
right,
Like,
and then we get she sees her face in the broken mirror, and so we get this idea that it's some sort of Jekyll and Hyde, She-Hulk type of thing.
she's probably just on her period.
Boy.
This is why people tune into the podcast for these very thought-provoking jokes.
We're trying to make hay here. Cut back to New York. Peter gets a call when he's in the cab. He gets out of Mohinder's cab. He's getting a call from the lady, Isaac's boyfriend, Isaac's girlfriend. He's like, I gotta get out and go deal with this unrequited crush that I have. Behind him, Jack Coleman from Dynasty gets in.
Oh my god.
He's like, I gotta go to JFK. I have to be in Odessa, Texas shortly, so get me to the airport. I know
Who you are.
way more than I should about this cab driver and your dead father and
then he just dumps it.
Yeah.
So Mohinder just dumps
Mohinder's
it.
like, this weirds me out. He drives me to the parking lot and bails.
Which that's the end of that scene.
Don't run away. You've got him hostage in the back of your cab.
And that cab is worth so much
Also
fucking
just-
money in New York.
Oh, yeah.
A medallion to
The
New York
medallion?
cab? Come
Oh
on.
my god.
Don't
Yeah, what are they
fucking-
like? $300,000 for a medallion or something?
Yeah, like...
Not only that, but it's weird that he assumed it was something negative.
Yeah, this guy could have just been like, your father was a peer of mine. I'd never met him, but I've read him.
Mohinder had this previous knowledge that there are evildoers
Yeah.
that want to stop your father and want to stop you.
Well, didn't he say that his father thought someone was following?
Yeah, his
him?
father was paranoid or whatever. We cut to Claire dinner with her brother and her mom. Mom is worrying about show dogs. The brother is really annoying. The mom should have been Melissa Leo. They probably couldn't have they couldn't get her, but if the mom was Melissa Leo, this would be way better.
Again, the mom, like, you're supposed to be, oh, she's so dismissive because she's just paying attention to the weird little dog. But then, like, she does keep asking, like, how's your day? Let's talk. Like, what's new? Like, what, like, yeah, she's a fucking weirdo.
Yeah,
but, like,
She's making an effort to be involved.
I don't
in
know
her
how I'm supposed to feel about her. Because later on, too, she's like, listen, I want to be your mom. I wish we were closer.
She's actually great.
Yeah.
She's actually just like Claire in terms of, like, they wanted to combine, like, 4 different characters into one.
Yeah.
In kind of an attempt to make them 3-dimensional, but they're not. You just kind of don't grasp who they are as people.
Right. There's too many different things going on.
Yeah.
Claire sort of like offhandedly confesses about the fire thing, and her mom takes it as metaphor, but she is being literal. She walked through a fire. Come back to Japan. Hiro is getting dragged out of the women's restroom, as well he should.
Rightfully so.
Throw him out on the streets. His friend doesn't see him do it, though. So, like, as far as his friend is concerned, Hiro could have just, like, snuck into the ladies' bathroom, right? But then this is where they have their argument about conforming, about wanting to be more than just, I want to be more than just Japanese.
Yeah.
We are only Japanese. Lazy.
Yeah.
White people trying to show white people what Japanese people are like in their culture.
Right. Having read a Wikipedia article about.
Yeah.
Come back to Peter. He goes to the comatose father's thing to tell the lady that he wants to quit and he's got to stop living for other people and put himself first for the first time. Like, he's trying to take both his mother's and brother's advice to heart.
I don't get that whole scene. What does he have to come? He's not living for any other people at all.
Right.
What was he gonna go do? Like, if he wasn't in the situation in which he had to save this person's life right now, and he just came over and said, "I have to start living for other people."
It's like that.
What
can wait a couple hours while we go save this ODing man.
Well, just what does he even mean? What was he even gonna go do? He was going to like.
What was the next step?
What life was he living that was so false?
I don't know. They don't tell it. Like,
everyone's talking shit like being a hospice nurse doesn't require a lot of skill and
like he's wasting his fucking
education.
time.
Yeah.
Like,
Also, I think they make fucking bank.
it's an important thing that he's doing, and it's selfless, and everybody around him is like, stop being so selfless. You should be more selfish.
And so he says, "I'm going to stop living for other people,
And I'm gonna do that.
and I'm just going to go be like a monk somewhere." Like, I don't really know. That's the thing, is that he doesn't know.
He doesn't know what that means.
what he wants to do is.
I gotta stop being so good to people around me.
Yeah.
I have to stop being such a good person.
I have to go be somebody special. What that means, I don't know.
don't know, but I guess.
But I
maybe the
assume
journey.
it's a walk through the Himalayas at least.
Yeah, exactly.
I was gonna say that's the plot to fucking Eat, Pray, Love. Fuck that movie.
She's like, I can't listen to you try to quit right now. My boyfriend is ODing. Come with me. You know how to administer a needle, right? Or medicine. He probably needs medicine.
You know, all those anti-OD drugs that hospice nurses fucking carry around.
Yeah.
Bring your drug bag.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they get there and he's just like, call 911.
Call
That's
911.
what we need to do here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until then, just sit with him because we're not doing anything.
It turns out you were right. He does need help.
He does need help. Wow. I'm glad you seeked a medical professional for this.
The next scene is Claire putting her hand in the garbage disposal.
Yeah.
And
Which
then-
she's very silently takes, by the way. Like, she just goes like,
I literally
Dude,
could not watch that. That was
dang, that would have hurt.
that terrifies me.
I mean, it's like no person on this planet could just not make a sound.
Right.
And then just turn around and be like, "Oh, hi, Mom. Sorry, what were you talking
yeah.
about?"
While your hand slowly reforms itself.
Yeah.
The practical effect was really cool, though.
It's
I
actually-
like the hand.
it was
Pretty well done. man.
horrifying.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, this is more mom trying to like build a bridge. Like,
I know,
come on,
great
like,
mom.
Yeah. And she's and Hayden's not necessarily that unreceptive to it. She's just like, there's a bigger thing underneath the surface here, and we
Yes.
discover what it is. At the end.
Right,
She's like,
yeah.
I am old enough to know who my birth parents are. It's like, oh, okay, she's adopted. Everything's weird because of the your relationship is strange because of that, and it hasn't been dealt with. Okay, cool.
Megan, we've been married for many years, and I love you very much, and I think it's time that we have a child, and also I'm a centaur. Like, it's given with that level of, like, we're just going to tack this on to the end of a sentence.
Yeah.
What?
Then Dad comes home.
Oh yeah, and it's the guy from the cab. Ah.
That was kind of cool. I dig that. Like, oh, here's some weird connection.
Because of the timeline problem that this episode has, I was like, how did he get from New York to Texas so
Yes,
quickly? And then, and they could have made
That's
that
what
clearer.
really makes it off.
'Cause,
It's
like,
that just him coming home in that same
in that
scene.
in that scene, if they would have, like, I don't know. Again, you could have written that a little bit more cleanly.
Also, imagine writing a scene that is at the top of this scene. She's going to shove her hand into a garbage disposal.
Yeah.
She's going to turn around and then say, Mom, I know I'm adopted. I want to meet my parents. The mom has to go, okay. And then that's not the twist. Neither of those are the twist. And then the twist is that the villain of the show then walks in and says, hello, son and daughter.
Hello, family.
Hello, Daddy.
I've missed you so. So then we come back to Hero. This is where Hero's on the subway. And he's under the clock. The clock shows like 11:49. Then it starts to roll forward really quickly. And then it stops at 1 o'clock. And then he is in Times Square. Neat. Hero can control time and teleport. He has 2 powers, I guess.
Cool.
Good to know. Good to know going forward. I'm sure that will be important. Cut back to New York, or I guess we're in New York.
Yeah.
Peter sees Isaac overdosing, so he helps him call 911. Everything's gonna be fine. But then, so she does all the work after he's like, yeah, that dude's dying.
He literally just gives advice.
and then he wanders off because he gets distracted by one of Isaac's paintings. And one of Isaac's paintings is a very comic book-like drawing of Peter flying off of a building.
He sees it.
There
is a man dying of an overdose, like 3 feet behind him.
Yeah, but there was a guy dying in the room in the first scene, and he couldn't really focus on that either.
Yeah, well, he was a little booty blind in the first scene.
But he's more selfish than his brother.
Certainly seems that way.
Brother's just into politics, and he's selfish in that I can't think of anything other than that fact that I am better than the rest
Having
of you.
dreams
I don't know
of
how
fun,
I'm better than the rest of you, but I am
but
more
I might-
special than everybody else in this room.
Yeah.
It is weird. It is strange and muddy characterization. But yeah, so like then this continues on to Peter calls Nathan and has him meet him in an alley, and then he throws his phone at him from the top from this top of the building, and Nathan's like,
Lucky it wasn't a Nokia. Would have made a fucking impact crater.
and this is the point at which I said do a flip. But yeah, like he's gonna be like, hey, you don't believe me, so I'm gonna prove it to you. I can fly. And he jumps off the building.
Which, by the way, if he does do it successfully, land, and then go like, see, I can fly.
Yeah.
No more phone. Phone's broken.
Gotta go get a new phone.
Gotta go get a new phone. Which is like so crazy. The brother would have been like, that's really magical of you. I'm not paying for a new phone
you do
for
not
you.
have to. You
I'm about to say, $100 says his brother paid for the phone and the phone bill.
Yeah, you can fly. That's awesome. Why don't you fly us over to the fucking T-Mobile store, you fucking dork? It turns out Peter probably can't fly.
No.
Peter's probably telepathic or something like that. He has premonitions, visions, whatever, because he is saved from falling to his death by his brother. His brother, Nathan, the politician, can fly.
Yes. This is what he was having a premonition of, thinking he could fly because his brother's flying with him.
Right.
Yeah.
He probably was having a dream of falling off the building, and the flying part,
Yeah.
And this effect of them flying is pretty god-awful.
Yeah.
It is rough.
So this is the end of the episode. Let's just say right away, did we like it? Was it good? And then we'll all talk about why we didn't like it. Mark, did you like it? Was it good? Would you watch episode 2?
I think Lost crawled so that this show could crawl a little bit more standing up so that prestige show television today can do what it does.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, JP.
That's a no from me, Mad Dawg. I did not like it.
No was the answer.
Sure,
Yeah. No, I'll fucking watch Bad Lost over this shit fucking any day of the week. I can see what they're trying to do, and I'm sure it gets better, but this pilot, compared to the pilot of Lost, dude, pilot of Lost, I am on the edge of my seat every time we watch that plane crash.
Correct.
Adam?
Yeah, I think that's got to be a big pass-a-roo for me, too. The thing about it is that...
It made me like blondes when I was 11. Like that's...
If I'm watching this in 2007, I absolutely come back for episode 2. If I watch this the day it premieres, I absolutely come back to watch episode 2. Now, here in 2023, there's, like you said, JP, I can see what they want to do. There's already stuff doing it better. I'll just go watch that instead. So why was it bad? My first complaint is the establishment of the characters, period. But then, like, in extension, not clearly establishing their powers, not clearly establishing some more of the relationships, and not clearly characterizing to me who these people are as characters. It was too muddy. And there's just too much stuff, too many people introduced, and we didn't get enough about any of them. That's my biggest problem with it. So,
and like a cast that size, it's hard to get all of them into the pilot just to tell you how, like, who they are and what kind of lives they live, let alone also start to show their powers, let alone also show that some of them have more than one power.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Imagine that the pilot of Lost is nothing but Sydney Airport.
Yeah.
And what Jack and Kate and Sawyer and Locke were all doing at the airport before the crash. That's what this feels like. I kept waiting for the catalyst.
Well, that's actually the show. That's what the show is.
The show is waiting for a catalyst.
Yes. They kind of allude to it right there. So like what they did towards the end where Isaac in his OD very kind of like nonchalantly whispers, we got to stop this or whatever it is. We have to stop it.
Oh, and there's the picture of
It's a picture of like a nuclear explosion.
Yeah, that's right.
That is the cataclysmic event that will be looming for the entire show.
There was so many paintings and so many like premonition things rather than freak out because like there was a painting of the eclipse that he covered up and a painting of something else or whatever. He's freaking out, right? He explains the burning bus one and how the license plate's the same. Mm-hmm. Go into the other part of the studio and it's a painting of every major city.
Sure.
We see the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
We see Rome.
Yeah.
We see fucking all these landmarks that you know, and they all have explosions happening.
Sure.
Because the one, I'm like, all right, well, fucking, all right, well, yeah, cool. The bombs over Baghdad, love it. But like, you know, I don't. Yeah, that is a catalyst, but like, I don't fucking care.
Right.
That's all we know about that dude.
Isaac.
Right.
Yeah. Like that is a rock skipped over a pond with that guy.
Yep.
Imagine the pilot being that guy realizing that he's painting the future.
That could have been a whole you could have a whole show just about him.
Yeah.
And here's sort of an interesting thing about that. I kept thinking this to myself as we were watching this. I was like, man, a lot of this stuff seems familiar. And Mark, you had already sort of nailed it. That it's the same scene.
It's the same scene 9 times.
That's one thing that made me feel like I recognize it. But the other thing that I realized was each one of these characters is very easily something that they did an entire episode on in Fringe. Matter of fact, the guy who paints premonitions, there's an episode of Fringe in which a guy has premonitions and he paints them or he sculpts them, he sees flashes and he literally can't proceed with his day unless he gets it out. He's not even necessarily an artist. And I'm pretty sure that's with Zach Orth. And that episode of Fringe is fucking awesome. And that's kind of what Fringe is. Fringe is the Fringe science unit going and finding people like this. And it's so, to me, I was almost thinking to myself, I was like, the heroes sort of crawled so that Fringe could run.
Sure.
But the X-Files ran so that Fringe could sort of run.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because it's not like Fringe is the most original thing ever. But like, I remember I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, this makes me want to watch Fringe because I think Fringe is a show that does what this is trying to do better.
If I can just slightly expand on my it's the same scene.
Go for it.
Absolutely.
The structure in which they're trying to show you who a character is and what they have going on, and sometimes what their power is. They have 2 characters, and it's always 2, and it's A and B, and A is going to be the main character of the show, or one of the main characters of the show, and so A has the superpower. Mm-hmm. B is trying to get them to stop doing what they're doing.
Sure.
So it starts with Mohinder. Or I don't know exactly where it says, but Mohinder has his friend.
Yep.
Peter has his brother.
Yep.
Claire has the nerdy AV kid.
Yep.
Allie has her son, or I guess more later, the better scene for it is her talking to her friend.
The other lady. Yep.
It's the same scene over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It
really is.
It's Isaac and his girlfriend.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just the same scene where the main character has something going on that they need to, they're trying to figure this out. Mm-hmm. And then they have a friend. It's essentially just shoving the information at the viewer by saying it to the main character. The main character will be like, I have to go do this. And they'll be like, no, Frank, you can't do that. Your dad did that. And you're going to follow in his footsteps. And then, so you're like, now I know a lot more about this character now. Yeah. And it's just that kind of on repeat for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's why when you're doing screenwriting, it's important to like, all right, I got my script done. Now I have to do the subtext work.
Yeah.
And so that like, first of all, you figure out, all right, but what is this really about? But then also you see when you break down, all right, what is this scene at its core? And then when you see, oh shit, I did the same thing 9 fucking times. Oops.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe I should have somebody do something a little bit different.
Yeah. From my understanding, it's not just the same scene 9 times, because I think we said this at the top of the show. This is like a real ensemble show where most characters don't stick around for the entire run of the show. Mm-hmm. People are introduced later. People are introduced, they leave, they come in. We haven't met most of the characters that go on to be important in
Yeah.
the show. And every time they come in, if they introduce them like this, I can understand why this show had such a fall off as far as its popularity. That and Heroes was one of the shows that was affected by the 2007 WGA writer's strike. I think they had an extended hiatus so that when they came back from the break, from the strike, they had to do like a lot of repair work as far as people's memories and stuff like that. So
Sure.
I think from what I can tell, I think the cart was already detached from the horse before the strike was coming.
Yeah, because
So-
if you kind of, I don't know whether it was or not, but if you guess that this show was pitched in the standard way that shows were pitched back in the 90s and 2000s, is that this pilot was written and given to somebody, and then the rest of the season 1 was written separately.
Right.
With a bigger team, probably.
Yeah. There's a list on the Wikipedia page of the important characters and their abilities, which is kind of neat.
I would much just rather read a book about the X-Men.
Well, and that's sort of the flavor too of the show. The show tried to be like a comic book, but
Yeah.
television is an inherently different medium than comic books. Some of the stuff they tried to do in there was visually kind of interesting, like the positioning of Hero and his friends' subtitles when they were speaking to each other.
I liked how they did that. Yeah.
Yeah, visually they were creating a style, but they will never be able to completely mimic the feeling of a comic book by watching a TV show. The closest they've ever come that I've ever seen anyway was probably Into the Spider-Verse. That felt kind of like watching a comic book. Even something like
Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim, very cool, but
I
that,
love Scott Pilgrim.
that I love, and that's that gets pretty close to mimicking sort of a comic book style. Sin City, that was the one I was searching for. Yeah, these do a very good job of creating a very, very specific style, and this show at times very much just feels like a standard broadcast television show, and then they occasionally put a little bit of comic book flavor in it, and it's like, don't dip your toes, go ahead and lean in, and that'll make something really interesting. So, Mark, thanks so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to watch Heroes with us.
We'll have you on for a much better and more fun episode of Lost on Lost soon.
Any plugs?
Yeah, I got them last year.
Yeah, they look good.
Thanks, man.
Is that why you had to go to Turkey for that week and a half?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
It was. You should have seen me and everybody else with bandages on their heads on the plane.
I thought it was your back hair. Anyways.
Well, that's where they took it.
Right.
From.
No, I thought that's where they put it.
Oh, you got hair plugs on your back?
You know what? I could definitely convince somebody of that.
JP, what are we watching next time? Here on the
I'm actually pretty excited
Lost
for
on
this.
Lost, the Lost Effect.
Yeah, on the Lost, the Lost Effect. If you want to be lost on the Lost Effect with us, we're going to be watching Season 1, Episode 1 of Fringe, just titled Pilot.
Yeah.
Classic.
I'm very excited to talk about Fringe too. Fringe does rip. Yeah, Adam Haas will be coming back. That's one of his favorite shows.
Yeah.
And, we'll be chatting with him about a little bit of Fringe, little Pacey.
Cool.
A little bit of John Noble.
Yeah, that guy.
He's so fucking good.
Well, thank you for tuning into this episode of Lost on Lost, the Lost Effect.
I'm Adam.
I'm JP.
Do you have any idea why we're not talking about Lost and spending our time watching Heroes?
Nope.
Me neither.
Lost on Lost is produced and edited by me and JP.
We wish to acknowledge that we live, work, and produce our show on occupied land.
Burbank, California is located on the traditional tribal lands of the Tongva, Chumash, Kizh, and Fernandino Tataviam peoples.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin is located on the traditional tribal lands of the Peoria, Potawatomi, Miama, and Ho-Chunk peoples.
And Lost was produced in Hawaii on the lands of the Kanaka Maoli.
Visit native-land.ca to learn more about the land you live and work on.
You can engage with us on IG, Facebook, and Twitter at Lost on Lost 1.
You can also email us at wearelostonlost@gmail.com or support us with dollar monies at coffee.com/wearelostonlost.
Thanks to Lostpedia and its community of contributors, Danny Schmitz, Random.org, and as always, you the listeners for tuning in.
We're hosted at Podbean. You can hear us there or wherever you get your podcasts, except MySpace. We're not on MySpace.
Yet.